Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. South Korean police raid airport, Jeju Air offices after deadly crash that killed 179. Black box to be sent to US for analysis. US says driver in fatal New Orleans truck ramming was inspired by ISIS. FBI suspects more involved in the attack, launches manhunt for more suspects. Cybertruck filled with fuel and fireworks explodes at Trump's Las Vegas hotel, killing driver. Probe underway. Montenegro declares 3 days of national mourning after a gunman goes on rampage, killing at least 10. Suspect dies after attempting suicide. Israel warns to intensify its strikes in Gaza if Hamas keeps up its rocket fire. The year began violently in America as a man drove deliberately at high speed into a crowd of New Year's revelers in New Orleans, killing at least 15 and wounding more than 35. Here's a report.
At least 15 people were killed and dozens injured when a driver rammed a pickup truck into a crowd during New Year's celebrations in New Orleans early on Wednesday morning. The FBI identified the attacker as Samshuddin Jabbar, a 42-year-old US citizen who once served in Afghanistan. He was later killed in a shootout with the police. A flag linked to the Islamic State group was discovered in the vehicle, and the FBI is investigating potential ties Jabbar may have had with terrorist organizations. Investigators suspect he may not have acted alone, as improvised explosive devices were found in the vicinity.
The subject has been identified as 42-year-old Samshuddin Jabbar, a U.S.-born citizen from Texas. He was driving a Ford pickup truck, which appears to be rented, and we are working to confirm how the subject became in possession of this vehicle. An ISIS flag was located on the trailer hitch of the vehicle, and the FBI is working to determine the subject's potential associations and affiliations with terrorist organizations.
US President Joe Biden has condemned the horrific car ramming incident. FBI had discovered videos posted by the driver on social media hours before the attack. In these videos, the driver expressed being inspired by the Islamic State group and voiced a desire to kill.
The FBI also reported to me that mere hours before the attack, he posted videos on social media indicating that he was inspired by ISIS, expressing a desire to kill, The ISIS flag was found in his vehicle, which he rented to conduct this attack. Possible explosives were found in the vehicle as well, and more explosives were found nearby. The situation is very fluid, and the investigation has a preliminary stage. And the fact is that right now, the law enforcement and intelligence community are continuing to look for any connections, associations, or co-conspirators.
Meanwhile, President-elect Donald Trump reignited the debate over immigration and crime following the car ramming incident, blaming Democrats for dismissing his warnings about criminal migration into the US. International condemnation poured in for the attack in New Orleans. Messages of condolences poured in from global leaders, including Israeli Foreign Minister, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, French President Emmanuel Macron, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, and others. Bureau Report, DD India.
A Tesla Cybertruck exploded in flames outside the Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas on Wednesday, leaving one person dead and injuring 7 others. The FBI is now investigating the incident as a possible act of terrorism.
Tesla Cybertruck exploding in flames just outside the Trump Hotel in Las Vegas. Amidst the intense smoke that followed, bursting of what seemed like firecrackers can be seen. Though it sent shockwaves across the nation, the investigating agencies have so far ruled out any link with New Orleans terror attack. Sheriff Kevin McMahill told a news conference that the back of the truck contained gasoline and camping fuel canisters, as well as large firework mortars.
So those are gasoline canisters, they are camp fuel canisters, and large firework mortars. What I also would like you to pay attention to on that video, as you see that, it looks like the exterior of that truck is completely intact as it sits there.
The one deceased individual was inside the Cybertruck. FBI has indicated that the identity of the suspect has still not been confirmed.
As of right now, our number one goal is to ensure that we have the proper identification of the subject involved in this incident. Following that, our second objective is to determine whether this was an act of terrorism or not.
He stated that the FBI had identified the driver of the vehicle, which was rented in Colorado, but was not prepared to release the driver's identity at this time. The Trump International Hotel is owned by U.S. President-elect Donald Trump. The explosion occurred hours after a tragic incident in New Orleans where a man drove a truck into crowds celebrating New Year's Day, killing 15 people. Nancy Baloda, DD India.
Moving on to the southeastern European country of Montenegro, where 3 days of national mourning has been declared from Thursday after a gunman killed at least 10 people in a rampage in a small town. According to media reports, the suspect had engaged in a brawl at a restaurant and later returned and opened fire, killing multiple people, including the owner of the establishment and 2 children. Interior Minister said that members of the suspect's own family were among the victims, while the suspect died from self-inflicted injuries after attempting suicide. The minister described the incident as the consequence of disturbed interpersonal relations without providing further details. Vehicle attacks have become increasingly common around the world. Here's a list of some high-profile incidents in which a vehicle was used to ram into crowds, harming and killing bystanders in recent years.
Vehicle attacks have surged globally since 2016, starting with the Nice attack in France, when a man drove a heavy truck into crowds of Bastille Day celebrants, claiming 86 lives. The ISIS claimed the responsibility of the attack. In December 2016, a Tunisian asylum seeker hijacked a truck, plowed it into a crowded Berlin Christmas market, killing 11 more people and injuring dozens. 4 days later, he was killed in a shootout with police in Italy. A car sped across Westminster Bridge in March 2017, mowing down pedestrians just outside Parliament, killing 4 people and injuring dozens. The driver then fatally stabbed a police officer before he was shot dead. In May 2017, a US Navy veteran rammed his car into pedestrians in Manhattan's crowded Times Square, killing a woman and injuring 22 people. In August 2017, a 22-year-old man rammed a car into crowds in Barcelona on Ras Ramblas, killing 13 people. The man, Yunus Abu Qayyub, fled the scene on foot. Manhunt for suspected driver is still on. In October 2017, an Uzbek national plowed a rented truck onto a Manhattan bike path, killing 8 people and injuring 11. In 2018, a man plowed a rented van into dozens of people in downtown Toronto, killing 11 people and injuring 15. A Wisconsin man was convicted in 2022 of killing 6 people and injuring dozens when he drove his SUV into a Christmas parade near Milwaukee, Wisconsin in November 2021. A driver in November 2024 rammed his car into a crowd at Sports Center in the southern Chinese city of Zhuhai, killing 35 people and severely injuring 43 in one of the deadliest attacks in contemporary Chinese history. In Germany, a 50-year-old man was charged with multiple counts of murder and attempted murder in December 2024 after police said he plowed a car through crowds at a Christmas market in Magdeburg, killing 5 people and injuring scores. Bureau Report, DD India.
Updates from South Korea now. Impeached President Yoon Suk Yeol remained defiantly inside his residence, resisting arrest for a third day on Thursday after vowing to fight authorities seeking to question him over his failed martial law bid. In a letter personally signed by a suspended South Korean leader was delivered to the rally in which he expressed his gratitude to the supporters. Yoon in the letter said that South Korea is in danger due to anti-state forces infringing on national sovereignty and vowed to fight to the end to protect the country. Supporters and opponents of Yoon have gathered outside his residence while his security team has prevented police raids in a dramatic standoff. The embattled leader's bungled declaration on December 3rd resulted in his impeachment, leaving him facing potential arrest, imprisonment or at worst the death penalty. Yoon's legal team has filed for an injunction to block the warrant, arguing that the arrest order is unlawful and invalid. South Korea's Constitutional Court held an inauguration ceremony for two new judges, Cho Han-sang and Jung Gae-son, on Thursday. Both the justices were appointed by acting President Choi Sang-mok on December 31st. Their inauguration on Thursday brings the number of justices to 8. The ceremony was held just a day before the trial on suspended President Yoon's martial law bid. The court is set to decide the fate of both Yoon and Prime Minister Han Duck-soo, who was the first acting president after Yoon's impeachment, on whether to oust them from their positions completely or restore their powers. South Korea's constitution requires 6 of its 9 justices to agree on the ousting of an impeached president. All right, and DD India correspondent Anil Thomas is joining us live from newsroom. Anil, Yoon Suk Yeol resisting arrest for the 3rd day. What latest do you have on this? For how many days can he do this?
Well, good afternoon, Siddharth. Well, not much of headway, especially when it comes to obstructions being created. And at the end of the day, when the police, the South Korean police, will make inroads and try to, get him out from his fortress that he has created around him, looks very much likely. At this point of time, they managed to get the number of judges required. That's been filled to 8, and there is a likelihood of even the 9th, the full strength, constitution bench being put together in South Korea. So, the interim government with South Korea now into, I would say, total confusion as we speak with regards to that air crash that took place. And, you saw some kind of semblance that the political leadership was coming together, especially in fighting that particular crisis. But now back to the political gambit here. Not much of headway in terms of getting him out. But then, obstruction of justice is what they're going to, call for at the end of the day. And maybe look at getting him out. Before that, what Yoon would be looking is to get an interim stay on his arrest. That looks very much likely. But all in all, with the strength of the Constitution bench now, with the addition of 2 more judges to 8, it looks unlikely that there is any edging room that Yoon has. We'll have to wait and watch how this pans out, because there's a likelihood that we can have the 9th person joining on board. And if one takes a look at the Constitution bench of 8 judges at this point of time, there is a single judge that has been appointed by Yoon himself. That's Cheon Hong Suk, appointed in 2023. So not much of headway even in terms of the Constitution bench, in terms of unlikely or likely support that he is going to get. He's just got one Supreme Court judge there in that particular Constitution bench. So, the road ahead looking pretty tough for Yoon.
All right, we leave it there. Thank you so much, Anil. South Korean authorities are intensifying their investigation into the deadly crash of a Jeju air flight. The crash, which claimed the lives of 179 people, is being closely examined, with multiple raids carried out at key locations, including the airline's office and Muan Airport. Here's a report by DD India's Harshita Oberoi.
Police conducted sweeping raids at Muan Airport, Jeju Air's Seoul office and a regional aviation hub on Thursday morning. These searches are part of a high-stakes investigation into one of South Korea's deadliest air disasters. The cockpit voice recorder, a critical piece of evidence, has been recovered and is being analyzed. Acting President Choi Sang-mok announced at a disaster management meeting that the audio conversion of the recorder's data is expected to be completed by Friday.
해당 기종에 대한 국민들의 우려가 큰 만.
The data extracted from the voice recorder for the accident investigation will be converted into audio by tomorrow. An analysis of the flight recorder is scheduled to begin at the U.S. National Transportation Safety Board with the participation of our investigators.
비행 기록 장치는 우리 조
The flight data recorder, another crucial device, has been shipped to the United States for analysis at the National Transportation Safety Board. Experts from both South Korea and the US, including representatives from Boeing, are working at the crash site in southwestern Muan. Investigators are focusing on several potential causes, including faulty landing gear, a possible bird strike that may have triggered mechanical failure, and lapses in maintenance. The cockpit voice recorder is expected to provide critical insights into the crew's final communications. Meanwhile, officials have pledged full transparency and accountability. Acting President Choi emphasized the urgency of the probe, stating that immediate action would follow if inspections reveal lapses in safety protocols. The catastrophic crash of Jeju Air Flight 7C2216 has claimed 179 lives, plunging the nation into mourning. With so many lives lost, this investigation has become a national priority. The people of South Korea are demanding answers, not only to understand what went wrong, but to ensure such a tragedy never happens again. Harshita Oberoi, DD India.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu warned Wednesday that Israel will intensify its strikes in Gaza if Hamas keeps up its rocket fire. Over the past week, Palestinian terrorists have repeatedly fired rockets at Israel, particularly from northern Gaza, where the Israeli military is conducting a major offensive. His warning came after a visit to the Israeli town of Netivot, which was recently targeted by rocket fire from nearby Gaza. Hamas is still holding 96 hostages seized during their October 7, 2023 attack on Israel, and successive rounds of negotiations for their release and a ceasefire have all failed. All right, stay tuned. We'll be right back after a short break.
The delicate balance between human and animal coexistence has become a growing problem. Finding sustainable ways to coexisting together and thriving in a rapidly changing environment.
Tell them not to panic. Instead, they should just stand completely still and let the lions walk past peacefully. This is how we show respect to the animal and in turn gain its trust.
After the plantation of lemon trees, the elephants stopped entering the fields. They pass by the field boundaries without entering.
Poaching gangs and trafficking gangs that go after these elephants and capture them, things like that. And that's something that we are all up against.
We should try to modify the human behavior through education and awareness.
You're watching DD India Live. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj, and breaking news just coming in. A court in Bangladesh's Chachogram has denied bail to Chinmoy Krishna Das Brahmachari, a former ISKCON leader. During a hearing held today, the Chachogram Metropolitan Sessions judge rejected the bail plea by Chinmoy Das after hearing arguments from both sides for around 30 minutes. A team of 11 Supreme Court lawyers represented Das. However, despite their efforts, the court's decision went against their plea. On November 25, 2024, the former ISKCON leader was arrested on false sedition charges, leading to violent protests by his followers not only in Bangladesh but across the world. This is the breaking news that we are getting for you. And in fact, to talk more on this, I've been joined by DD India correspondent Naval Sangh Parmar. He's joining us live from Dhaka. Naval Sangh, we are hearing that Hindu leader Chinmoy Krishna Das's bail plea is denied by the court. What is the latest update you're getting for us on this?
Well, Siddharth, today there was a hearing after a long delay in Chinmoy Krishna Das bail plea, and the sessions judge in the Chattagam Metropolitan Court rejected the bail plea of Chinmoy Krishna Das. a senior lawyer of Supreme Court, Apurva Kumar Bhattacharya, and other 10 lawyers represented Chinmoy Krishna Das in a high security arrangement made by the police in the Chittagong court. But unfortunately, the bail plea of the Chinmoy Krishna Das rejected. However, the Apurva Kumar Bhattacharya, who is the lead advocate for the Chinmoy Krishna Das, told media that they will go in high court. They will appeal in the high court, and there is the again Chinmoy Krishna Das bail plea is rejected. So still further update or still further development in the court. He may be in jail in the Chittagong.
Okay, Naval Sangh, any information? Any update? If you can give us to what happens next?
Actually, this is the sedition case, and as per the local expert in sedition case, sessions judge or session court generally do not give bail to the accused or. And for that matter, High Court may grant him a bail. So that is the update now. High Court in Bangladesh may grant him bail, and as Apurva Kumar Bhattacharya, his advocate, also mentioned that they will apply for the appeal in the High Court.
All right, this is developing. Thank you so much as of now, Naval Sangh, but we'll keep taking you on air for more updates on this. Thank you so much as of now. And Punjabi singer and artist Diljit Dosanjh met Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Wednesday. PM Modi lauded him as multifaceted and also credited him with blending talent with tradition. Responding to a post by Diljit Dosanjh on social media platform X, PM Modi wrote, "A great interaction with Diljit Dosanjh. He is truly multifaceted, blending talent and tradition. We connected over music, culture and more." 12 containers of hazardous waste from the Union Carbide disaster 40 years ago are being transported from Bhopal to Pithampur in a large-scale operation under tight security. More in this report.
Hundreds of tons of hazardous waste remaining more than 40 years after the Bhopal gas tragedy. About dozen trucks have transported 337 metric ton waste to the disposal site of Pithampur. The hazardous waste was sealed inside containers and the convoy was accompanied by a police escort. The convoy has been fortified with the highest security protocol ever witnessed in the movement of industrial waste in the country. The waste will undergo scientific disposal through incineration. The order to clear the waste was made in December after the 40th anniversary of the disaster by the High Court in Madhya Pradesh state, which set a one-month deadline. In 1984, 27 tons of methyl isocyanate used in the production of pesticides swept through the city of over 2 million people after one of the tanks storing the deadly chemical shattered its concrete casing. Aditya Srivastav, DD India, Bhopal.
Well, you're watching DD India Live and time now for sport. Indian pacer Akashdeep has been ruled out of the fifth and final test against Australia on Friday due to a back injury. India head coach Gautam Gambhir addressed the media on Thursday and confirmed the pacer's unavailability in the ongoing Border Gavaskar Trophy. Akash had claimed 5 wickets in the first 2 tests and Brisbane and Melbourne. Regarding the team's playing 11 for the series decider, the coach maintained that the decision would be taken on match day after assessing the pitch conditions. Meanwhile, Australia captain Pat Cummins confirmed that Beau Webster will make his test debut in the final match, replacing Mitch Marsh due to his poor performance in the series. Cummins also assured fans of Mitchell Starc's participation despite the pacer nursing a rib niggle. Australia, leading the series 2-1, will aim to secure the Border Gavaskar Trophy in Sydney with a refreshed lineup, while India remain focused on levelling the series. Sri Lanka secured a 7-run victory in the third and final T20 match against New Zealand in Nelson on Thursday. Sri Lanka posted 218 for 5 in their 20 overs, with Kusal Perera delivering an excellent knock of 101 runs off 46 deliveries, registering the fastest century by Sri Lankan in T20 internationals. In response, New Zealand managed 211 for 7. Although New Zealand had already secured the series by winning the first 2 games, Sri Lanka ended the series on a high note. The two teams will face off again in the first of 3 one-day internationals in Wellington on Sunday. Indian Grandmasters Arjun Erigesi and world champion D. Gukesh retained their 4th and 5th spot respectively in the chess rankings released on Wednesday. Erigesi continues to have 2,801 rating points for the 4th spot. Earlier, he became the 2nd Indian after Vishwanathan Anand and 16th worldwide to reach the gold standard ELO rating of 2,800, while Gukesh, who defeated Ding Lizhen of China to win the World Championships title last month, is 1 place below Erigesi at 5th with 2,783 ratings. Norwegian Magnus Carlsen continues to be at the top spot with 2,831 ratings. Anand is the 3rd Indian in the top 10, occupying the 10th spot with an ELO rating of 2,750. That's all for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.